have paid attention, they'll have looked at the notes coming up, and they'll set these out for you. If not, you have to come get them. So according to our checklist, what is supposed to be happening first with them?
Plugging keg coolers and tap heads.
Okay, so we've got to plug it in. When you guys put them away, one wrap is fine. Don't get crazy because electric cords don't like to be wrapped really tight. So this is going to get plugged in. You're going to hear the fan warm up. It's going to sound like a refrigerator. Tapping the keg. Just wants to point out what we do with that.
So, grab this.
Yep.
Bring this out.
Good idea.
And then, yeah, you'll put it in. Make sure this is up and up. Put it in, twist it, and then go down. And then close it.
Yeah. So lessons learned from experience. Make sure this is up to start. Line it up, push down and twist, and then you can lock it into place by bringing it down. What's next?
Sorry, I remember when you learned that
I
one.
sprayed it all over myself.
that was really funny. CO2 on at an appropriate level.
Okay, so how do we turn the CO2 on?
Just the black lever at the top. Oh, the red lever down. Let the air actually come out.
So this one's super easy to remember because we turn it to open. This one's a little less easy to remember because it's just the lever. But I like to think of it as, it has to go through the hose, right, to get to your keg. This is stopping it, this is allowing it to go. So it's like I'm stopping the CO2 from coming through. So you have to flip that down. What is our appropriate level for the CO2?
10 to 12 psi.
10 to 12 psi, yep. You're going to obviously kind of play it by ear with each individual keg, but if you leave it set like that, you guys shouldn't have to mess with it. So when I get calls, I have to turn it up, I have to turn it down. It's like, well, stop touching it. Whoever had it set the first time, don't mess with it. It should be really relatively easy to set this up. You hook it up, you open the tank, you go. So if we start tweaking it up, tweaking it down quite a bit, the next person's got even more range to mess with. So just try to keep it in that set space.
Keg cups on top of kegerator.
Where do we find our keg cups? Right here, 16 ounce. And just set them on top of the kegerator. If, for whatever reason, you have notes, for example, there's a large keg open, we're only serving a small keg, it will say serve 75 glasses, or things like that. So you'll set your counted number of glasses. Otherwise, you can put as many as you need to out and serve till the keg is gone.
Kegerator tested and polished.
Okay, what are we looking for when we test it?
How fast it's coming out, flow, and also foam.
Yep. So you want it to come out at a steady pace. You also don't want to have a full cup of foam, but you don't want it to be flat. You want just a nice head on the top of the cup. Otherwise, it's just not going to taste just like pop. If it's not carbonated, it's not going to taste very good. Polish, we want this all wiped down. We want it nice and clean. Make sure that everything's tucked inside here so the door can close. Anything else, Gabe?
Starting inventories next.
Okay, so that is setting up your keg. So again, these are two things that I just don't know if they're being communicated clearly enough, even though they're bolded on the sheet. Read your event notes so you know what's coming up that night. Set up your keg first. Because when I get you calling me 15 minutes before the event is supposed to start, and you're like, hey, I just set up the keg and it's not working. You're here an hour and a half early, do this first. So if you have any issues with it, we can get that done right away. Okay? Yes?
If it's like too foamy or it's coming out way too slow, the only way to like fix either of those is just a little dial.
So too much foam is too much CO2. Too little foam is too little CO2. But if you haven't let your keg settle, if you just brought it out, imagine just bumping it around the ground and getting it put in here. If you haven't let it settle, that also can cause issues. So if you just put it in here and you just tested it out, come back in 10-15 minutes. If it hasn't resolved itself, then start looking at the PSI. Does that answer that question? Anything else? Okay, who wants the next bullet point?
Liquor in speed rack, plastic pour spout in each bottle.
Okay, so what we mean by the speed rack, that's going to be these racks on the front of the bar here, okay? You're going to want to put your most popular liquors in there. I don't expect you guys to have like a certain, we can leave it up close now. I don't have like a certain arrangement I expect everybody to follow. It's what you're going to remember quickly, so do something that helps you keep it consistent. Let's go ahead and look at the liquor cage here and kind of talk